Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and today I want to touch base on a topic that's been on and off on my mind for the past few months. I'll remember it, and then I'll forget about it, and I'll remember it, and so on and so forth. And that is none other than Final Fantasy XIV Mobile. Now, some of you may remember the videos I was posting a few months back detailing the game's beta test over in China. And for some of you, this may be the first time you're hearing about it, so you probably want to stay tuned in. If you missed all that coverage, we found a product that was honestly just way higher quality than I think most of us expected. I mean, you hear Final Fantasy XIV Mobile and you go, that's going to be a disaster. I mean, we all think it, right? Maybe some curiosity, maybe some careful optimism. But what we got was, again, something that surprised a lot of us. The UI is reflective of a more mobile experience, and that's definitely noticeable. Menus take up the entire screen, but despite that, it oozes a level of quality that definitely spoke above expectation. I mean, jobs were reworked with interesting new mechanics, completely different from the retail game in some cases. For example, Bard, my main job, has to time their song activations within their meters to achieve special effects, like a mini rhythm game, which is right up my alley. We saw a glamour system that was fully expressive with simple button presses to change outfits and an entire library of collected outfits separate from your inventory. We had a more stable friends list, features that were reworked to be more operable in A Realm Reborn like Fate Gemstones, and so on and so forth. It even promised a definitely more fair monetization than people expected. While the beta test is just that, a test, and the monetization could still change, it didn't have any like content gating via microtransactions, no stamina system or paying for more attempts at stuff, and it had no gacha at all, which was something they promised but we were all skeptical about. It just had an optional sub to unlock some basic quality of life stuff like more market board spaces and retainer space, as well as simple things that we kind of already pay for in the retail game like Fantasias. It just boasted a quality that makes retail players question if Square Enix themselves will learn or adapt any of the mobile game's features into their main game, after seeing what the team over at Lightspeed Studios has been cooking. A reminder that Square Enix isn't even the ones developing it. They're just licensing it off to Lightspeed Studios, and they're the ones developing it. So they should probably pay attention to some of these things. But since that coverage, the game has gone completely silent in terms of news, like a whisper in the wind that just blew on by. There's no mention of a Western or honestly even a JP beta, and no updates on the Chinese version's release, which we know will come out before the global version, so we probably should expect to hear about that, right? Well, we did get some news on that kind of, and it really flew under the radar from just over 2 weeks ago. My bad, I've been busy with stuff. During Cosmic Exploration's release day, someone in my stream mentioned that the Chinese app stores were now listing Final Fantasy XIV Mobile with its release date. Well, I finally got around to checking to seeing if they were telling me the truth, and after a brief search through Reddit, I found a post with that same information. According to the Chinese app stores, Final Fantasy XIV Mobile will release over there on August 29th. Now, first of all, it's crazy how close that is to A Realm Reborn's original release date of August 27th back in 2013. I kind of wish they would just push it up a couple of days, just to get that little bit of symbolism. It doesn't mean anything, but I'd like to see it. Second of all, it obviously raises the question about when we might hear anything about the Western version or any news at all about just the beta test. Now, I think we're a good long way away from seeing the Western release. I'm honestly looking at minimum early 2026, like maybe March or April-ish, probably longer. The localization of the game is likely to be one of the main factors, since it's being developed for Chinese audiences first and then must undergo the usual voicing and text changes that localization normally brings. For global audiences, we would assume that it includes at minimum the same languages supported by the retail version, and we have no insight into how much localization work has actually been done already. Realistically, when we find out about the other regional beta tests, we'll probably get a better idea of when we'll see the global version, but honestly, I'm expecting 14 Mobile to headline maybe as one of the final things mentioned, either at the opening keynote or perhaps a live letter that they normally do at the next fan festival. And my prediction for the next fan festival is February 2026, since I think 7.4 won't be until early January. And yes, that is breaking pattern for those of you who usually do my 19-week math. I've explained that in a different video, but I'll probably have to go further on it. And if that's in January, then I don't think they'll do FanFest until February, which means I don't think they'll do 14 Mobile until, a month or two after that. So, all just speculation. Nothing is set in stone, but I think that's at least a semi-logical way for me to think about it. Honestly, it's going to be an interesting time. As someone who's been a content creator for Final Fantasy XIV for a really long time, I obviously cover everything and anything that I feel is within my ability to cover. You know, obviously I don't cover like crafting and gathering stuff very often, and there are types of videos you just don't really see on my channel, either because I don't do them anymore or because I never did them in the first place. But 14 Mobile is kind of an interesting crossroads for me. I used to do a ton of mobile gaming. I've played the various Square Enix ones, all of which have pretty much been shut down at this point, whether it was Dissidia Opera Omnia or Record Keeper. And then, of course, I've messed with the Hoyoverse games. I didn't really play them on mobile other than HSR, but, you know, I did play Genshin, HSR, and I've dived into various other things over the years. So it's kind of a crossroads to have Final Fantasy XIV itself, with its own separate client, become a mobile game in and of itself, and then I have to contemplate how I cover that, because it is a Realm Reborn. It is stuff that I've technically already done. So how do I really go about covering something like that? Do I just keep covering the differences? Do I actually make guides or share? Do I do the same type of content? I don't know. I'm still kind of racking my brain about this entire thing and the fact that it's happening in the first place. It looks really good. It looks pretty high quality, but ultimately, I don't really know what it means or how it fits into everything just yet. I feel like even as non-content creators, Final Fantasy XIV players feel this way. There's almost that sort of feeling of a threat where the mobile version will become infinitely more popular than the retail version, and then retail players begin to worry about the game they care about more. I'm not that in deep about it, but I am just kind of curious to see how it ends up doing in the landscape that is modern gaming. Is it going to be something that is wildly more popular in China than the retail game is over there? And is it something that will maybe not be as popular in the West? Or is it actually going to be something that has to develop at its own pace and get its own style of content, get things that make it stand out? I don't know. I just don't know what the path is. Do they do collaborations with other games? Do we see cosmetics in there that we don't see in the retail game? I'm curious. That's it. I guess I've said it enough times already. I'm just curious to see how it's going to go. And I will be keeping an eye on it. I'll, of course, be making video content about any news that we do get about it. If there are more beta tests, whether they are in the West or over in China, I'll be sure to cover new features, take a look at the differences, and make sure I have regular coverage on that. So those of you who are curious if you're even going to play it can get somewhat of an idea of what we're in. Anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this video. Just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts on it since I've been thinking about it on and off, as well as that release date information. Again, if I hear anything new, be sure to stay tuned to the channel to find out more. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Talk about what you're feeling about Final Fantasy XIV Mobile in the comments section. It really helps the channel, and I will see all of you in the next one. Until then, take care.